Yeah, young, I just got a taste of the limelight, and I know I got no time to waste on my spotlight, yeah. In the prime of my life, oh yeah, I've been having time of my life, oh yeah.
What is up, internet? It's your boy, Wolf Boy, and welcome to the second episode of Song Challenge. Song Challenges? I don't know. I don't think we have an official title for this series yet. Today, we're going to be talking about how I recreated Yummy by Justin Bieber with food sounds. Let's see. I'll go through the drums first, like last time. So, this kick. It's two layers. One of them is originally the sound of me hitting a plate. I went into the sampler settings, went to pitch, and had it drop down in pitch really quickly. Which, if you remember our last episode, which you can watch here, that's a common technique to make drum sounds. You take something that has some kind of a tone and you pitch it down really quickly. That's how 808s are made. So there's that layer, and then a harmer layer. I think it's a different plate hitting recording. Also with pitching down, with distortion and very heavy compression boosting the lows a lot. Oh, and some low pass filtering to take off some of the high end. And also I just took the octave way down. I took the octave way down on the other plate recording too. So together, sound like that. Next, the clap. So I remember the main clap sound coming from the microwave being closed. Without the fade out, you can hear it has that long tail, but when you fade it out, you have a much more snappy sound. Then there's the sound of some Cheez-Its getting like slapped, like a bag of Cheez-Its. That adds a little bit more high end. And then the sound of dropping the bag of Cheez-Its into my hand. That also adds a ton of high end. Now, let's see, let's take the effects off of that too. So for that high-endy one, first an EQ, take out a whole bunch of lows and low mids, give it a huge boost around the like low end of the high end, because I really wanted that like airy tone, and then stereo enhancer. So this clap is mostly adding stereo stuff. Then for the other Cheez-It sound and the microwave, EQ and distortion changes the tone. Also gives it just a bit of a boost. So that's what that all sounds like together. Then there's the hats. Once again, like the box video, there's two hats. There's the closed hi-hats and the open hi-hats. Although it looks like in this case, there's actually technically three. There's two separate closed hi-hats. So this, once again, the sound of the microwave door closing. Let's see, let's take the effects off. That's what it sounds like. As you can see, the EQing is really doing a lot of work here. Because the sound of the microwave door closing, it's basically white noise. I'm leaving in only the frequencies that I want, which is these highs and high mids. Then there's this. That mouth sound is mostly sort of to be like an airy, quick hi-hat. Gives it a little bit more bounce. And then there's the closed hi-hat, which, like last time, is the result of taking a sound, processing it, and exporting it, and then processing that. So the way I created the open hi-hat, I did not time stretch anything. Instead, I took the closed hi-hat and added this reverb. which gives it a huge tail. It's a very long, well, it's not super long, but a pretty long decay, and the volume, the wet volume, is way up. And then I recorded that out, threw that into here, added a compressor, which takes down a little bit of the attack, keeps everything at a more consistent volume, and I programmed it with a stack, like I did last time, so that you have a little bit more filled out spectrum. But also, what I did here, this extra note, this slide note, is fading the volume out of the entire thing. I didn't do that here because I think it sounded good with a sudden stop, but for the other one, I wanted it to have a little bit of a fade out. So that's the hats. Then there's these percussion sounds. One of them is the sound of dropping a toaster strudel on a plate. As you can see, I've taken it down by like 10 semitones, almost an octave. And I've got a high pass filter on it, taking out some of the really low end, it looks like, and maybe adding a bit of resonance in the mids. Not doing anything with the pitch or anything, it's basically just the raw sound with a filter. There's this mouth sound, which again is just a filter. This time it's a band pass filter. And the sound of hitting the plate again. No pitch effects this time, just letting that resonant sound kind of ring out with the fade out on them, so it doesn't ring out forever, of course, but really you just want that tone so it sounds like a drum. And altogether, the drums sound like this. Next, let's talk about this main melody. So this was made from the sound of hitting a knife with a fork and letting that ringing sound resonate out. I put that audio file into a harmor. I selected this place in the middle, so you don't get that like really sharp attack, you just get the ringing. And as you can see, I've taken the pitch way down because like the initial ringing sound is very high pitched. So I wanted it to have more of a gentle tone. I also took down some high end with this filter. There's a volume envelope on it, so it has some release and a tiny bit of decay, so it sounds a little bit like a bell. The resonating fork sound doesn't have a whole lot of harmonic content by itself, so to add more harmonic content, I distorted it slightly, and I also used Harmor's harmonizer function, which stacked more harmonics on top of the existing ones. And it figures out where they are mathematically, I'm not totally sure how, but I did those two things, added some delay and reverb, and a little bit of compression to boost the mids and highs and take out some lows. Then I programmed the chord progression, which looks like this. And that's how that happened. Then there's the 808. This was made with that plate sound again. As you can see, I've selected an area in the middle, or close to the beginning, but just after the attack, so you don't have as much of that. You just get the tone. There's another pitch down. There's a filter to take out some of the high end, and a pretty good amount of distortion, and also compression boosting a lot of the lows. Basically, compression and distortion is how you're going to get your 808s to sound thicker and have more content. Now, what makes this beat interesting compared to the last one is there's actually two basses. There's a little like bridge section which has a different bass. Now, I'm pretty sure this is a variation on the 808. Yeah, it's the same sample, Same distortion and other stuff. Less of a pitch envelope. Oh, and a tiny bit of unison. So unison on a bass will create, well, unison on anything will create phasing, but on a bass, when you also like distort that and stuff like that, it will just create a lot of harmonic movement, and it basically just makes synths sound thicker. So this bridge bass sounded pretty thick to me, so I did that there. And then lastly, there's the harmonic chord thing going on. I think in the original song, this was just Justin Bieber singing, but I decided to recreate it with sounds. So this is that same resonating fork sound with the speed taken a lot down, and I'm pretty sure both of these are the same. A lot more sustain. The decay time is longer, so it holds out for longer. There's a little bit of portamento, so you get that sliding between notes. Same harmonizing, filter, tiny bit of distortion, compression, and reverb, and some chorus to thicken it up. And then I have two of them. I'm not sure if that's the exact notes being sung in the original, but it sounded close enough, and it gets the general effect. Oh, and of course on the synth and the harmony thing, there's EQing to take down some of the high end. Let's see what's on the bass. Well, the 808 just has a limiter so that it can be side chain to the kick. The club bass has an EQ to shape it, take out a lot of high end. A Maximus, but it looks like that Maximus is just sort of being a limiter. Oh, and it's also taking down some of the stereo width of that bass. Stereo width in the bass frequencies can sometimes lead to muddiness. It's generally a bad idea, at least if you're going for something that's like kind of poppy and something that a lot of people are gonna, like a pop audience is gonna listen to, so it's a good idea to take down some of the stereo width. Of course, if you're making experimental music and your name is
Dylan Brady,
you can do whatever you want with the stereo width and the bass. That's basically how this beat was made. By the time this video is out, we will have added vocals and it will all sound and look like this.
Yeah, young, I just got a taste of the limelight, and I know I got no time to waste on my spotlight, yeah. In the prime of my life, oh yeah, I've been having time of my life, oh yeah. I just got a taste of the limelight, and I know I got no time to waste on my spotlight, yeah. I'm in the prime of my life, oh yeah. I've been having time of my life, oh yeah. I've been winning, taste of sweet, sweet, yeah, oh Lord. Wanna work, keep it brief, brief, yeah, oh Lord. Got some gold up in my teeth, yeah, oh Lord. Came to show you when to leave, yeah. Oh shit, catch me straight rolling in my Maybach. Been like, damn, you laid back, why you say that? Oh shit, kicking all my sandals in my hands like, oh shit, I'm too hard to handle in my lane, yeah. I just got a taste of the limelight, and I know I got no time to waste on my spotlight, yeah. In the prime of my life, oh yeah. I've been having time of my life, oh yeah. I just got a taste of the limelight, and I know I got no time to waste on my spotlight, yeah. I'm in the prime of my life, oh yeah. I've been having time of my life, oh yeah.
These rappers sweet, but they salty too like caramel. I want all the beef, find the cow and make it wear a bell. Carousel, throw it in a circle. I like every flavor, why I rep the pink and purple. Yeah, stay with the toaster just like a strudel. I put that shit right to your noodle. I got the juice, I think it's fruitful. Lot on my plate, I think I'm too full. I'm lost in the sauce, Gordon Ramsay, yeah, bitch, I'm the boss. I'm cooking up and my boys got the heat, bitch, I run with my gang and we all finna eat.
Yeah, yo, I just got a taste of the limelight, and I know I got no time to waste on my spotlight, yeah. In the prime of my life, oh yeah. I've been having time of my life, oh yeah. I just got a taste of the limelight, and I know I got no time to waste on my spotlight, yeah. I'm in the prime of my life, oh yeah. I've been having time of my life, oh yeah.